Here are 5 more reasons why Jesus is a real person from history. Number 6, the stories of Jesus from historians living shortly after Jesus are consistent with what we know from the Bible. For example, Josephus, Jewish historian, and Tacitus, Roman, they talk about his crucifixion at the command of the governor Pilate, a real historical person, and also the ongoing strength of the Christian movement even after the death of Jesus. Number 7, the reality of a man called Jesus doing and teaching as the Gospels record explains the emergence of the Christian movement, a Jewish sect with some distinctly un-Jewish mutations. For example, celebrating a meal that symbolised eating the body and blood of Jesus was weird. What caused it if there was no historical person who talked about his death in sacrificial terms? Number 8. The inclusion of Gentiles, non-Jews, into the sect also requires a historical figure who died unjustly. It was the famous preacher Paul who pushed for including Gentiles into his distinctly Jewish messianic hope, and he was motivated by his belief that the Messiah had come and died for all, Jew and Gentile. A radical inclusion would not have happened without a historical Jesus actually suffering crucifixion and death. Number 9, parallels between the death and resurrection of Jesus and so-called dying and rising gods, as if Jesus was just another similar myth, they're overblown or downright misleading. Most especially because Jesus wasn't widely considered to be God for many, many years after he lived. His death is only ever described in the Bible and contemporary sources as a man dying by crucifixion, and his resurrection is described in terms that fit into a Jewish framework of resurrection in the latter days. And number 10, finally, it takes a lot more cognitive dissonance to argue that the most influential man in history never even existed, and instead a series of random people concocted and cobbled together a story, invented a whole catalogue of storytelling marvels such as the parables, made sure they were all historically accurate with all the correct names and places and trees and plants, and then fed that story into an existing dying and rising God cult, and all those cultists gullibly took it without question, and then proceeded to suffer and die for it. Follow the facts. Whether you choose to follow Jesus Christ or not, that's an open question, but his existence in history has been settled beyond dispute.